Decoding the Mind, Physics and Peak Focus.
Welcome to today's edition of Decoding the Classics. Today, we're going to dive into a seriously hardcore crossover. We'll be using modern science, specifically rigorous physical logic, to dissect an extremely ancient Buddhist text, the threefold devotional service. You'd never guess it, but this ancient, somewhat mystical piece of wisdom actually houses a remarkably precise mechanism of operation. Ready? Let's jump right in. Before we get to the main event, I have a question for you all. Have you ever wondered why, despite working our absolute hardest, we still keep stumbling? Whether in our studies, our careers, or even in deeply nurtured, long-term marriages, things so often spiral out of our control. This is actually the single biggest pain point for people in the modern world, according to the classical text we are decoding today. The culprit behind it all is a hidden condition known as a distracted mind. This isn't some mystical or metaphysical concept that's like a covert saboteur lurking inside your brain. It starts developing when we are kids and gradually turns our hard work into dust, time after time. Now let's look at the central quote from this ancient text. When a water purifying pearl is dropped into turbid water, the turbid water cannot help but become clear. When mindfulness of the Buddha is introduced to a distracted mind, the distracted mind cannot help but attain Buddha nature. Sounds a bit abstract and archaic, right? Don't worry. This isn't asking you to blindly believe in superstition. It is a roadmap that can be fully verified through real-world physical effects, a super roadmap for building absolute focus. Let's use an analogy. A scattered, distracted mind is just like a glass of extremely murky, dirty water. Why is the water murky? Because it is packed with tens of thousands of frantic, jumping microbes and bacteria. In ancient texts, these are called karmic consciousness. These elements ride around frantically in your head, completely obscuring your vision and preventing you from seeing the true nature of reality. By contrast, a crystal clear glass of pure water represents ultimate focus and a serene mind, with no obstruction to your line of sight. You can look straight down to the bottom and instantly grasp the essence of things. So here comes the question, what on earth is this water purifying pearl mentioned by the ancients that can cleanse everything it touches? Does it actually exist in the real world? It actually does. It has a highly practical physical equivalent, moringa seeds. That's right, the seeds from a real-world plant known for its medicinal value. If you know a bit about physical experiments, you can try it yourself. No matter how dirty or bacterial dense the water is, the moment you drop a moringa seed in, it immediately triggers a remarkable physical absorption effect, rapidly clarifying the water.
This is a tangible physical phenomenon you can see with your own eyes. The entire purification process runs like a piece of precision machinery. As the seed sinks 1 inch into the water, that inch instantly becomes clear. As it continues to descend, all the silt and impurities are forcefully dragged downward until they settle at the very bottom, turning the entire glass of dirty water crystal clear in a flash. However, there is an absolute, non-negotiable physical prerequisite. Throughout this process, the water must remain completely still. In other words, you cannot stir it. It's the same with your state of mind. You must stop stirring up your brain with wild, scattered thoughts. Now that the principle is clear, how do we apply this in real life? Part 1. Willpower as a network. Receiving invisible signals. Ancient texts often speak of the Buddha's willpower, something invisible and intangible. But if you draw an analogy with modern technology, it's remarkably similar to something we use every day. A Wi-Fi signal or wireless radio waves. It covers everything 24/7 with zero dead zones. The focus training described in its text is, at its core, nothing more than building your brain's receiving antenna. As long as your antenna is engineered with enough precision, you can connect to the network and directly download the massive power you need. So what happens when you actually connect to this network? Part 2. The law of focus, unshakable power. This perfectly explains the terrifying performance gap created by focus. Imagine a magnifying glass. It can lock all scattered sunlight onto a single, sharp point. This level of extreme mental focus behaves just like a high-energy laser can slice through solid steel. That's why top business leaders like Elon Musk or Jack Ma achieve monumental things. They operate in this state of hyper-focused intensity. Conversely, a scattered mind is like a pair of glasses with the wrong prescription. Not only can it not focus light, but it diffuses even the brightest rays, slashing the brightness by 80%. A scattered mind is destined to see nothing clearly and accomplish nothing significant. But way before you start practicing focus, there is a deeply hidden physical roadblock that acts like a ticking time bomb, silently destroying you from within. Part 3. Avoiding the rifts. The destruction of poor diet and delusion. Prepare to be shocked for days. That's all it takes. Scientific research from top institutions like the University of Queensland in Australia has revealed Hey, just 4 consecutive days of a poor diet are enough to breach and corrode the blood-brain barrier, the most critical protective shield in your brain. And these terrifying physical saboteurs sit on our dinner tables every single day. Refined carbohydrates, white flour, white rice, and white sugar.
More often than not, our family members act out of deep love, switching up recipes daily to make your favorite white flour dumplings or bowls of fluffy white rice. But the brutal scientific truth is that eating these causes your blood sugar to spike instantly. Within a few short days, your brain's protective barrier is corroded, your nervous system is damaged, your memory and analytical skills crash, and your emotions start riding an uncontrollable roller coaster. Think about it: if your most fundamental physical and physiological defenses have collapsed, how could your mind possibly stay calm? The direct consequence of this physical brain damage is extreme mental chaos. Once the water gets murky, all kinds of dangerous delusions creep in. Masters have put it bluntly, relying on delusions is self-sabotage. And that's a fact. Because every person's life trajectory is completely unique. You cannot guess what someone else is thinking, not strangers. And not even your own biological children. True wisdom leaves zero room for wild guessing. You must see things as they truly are and understand them as they truly are. Part 6. Complete realization, mastering your destiny. Having identified the root cause and navigated around the hidden reefs, what is our ultimate goal? The 2 most critical words are realization. True wisdom never asks for blind faith. It is a hard science rooted in empirical evidence. What does realization mean? It means you must personally test, verify and prove it in practice, and no matter how many times you run the test, the result must be identical. And what does attainment mean? It means that this laser-like focus becomes fully integrated into your life, becoming an inseparable part of who you are, as natural as waving your own arm, ready to be deployed anytime, anywhere. However, we must also face reality, transforming your life state from a glass of murky sludge into pure, crystal clear water isn't something that happens overnight. It's like learning a brand new foreign language from scratch. It requires years of intense effort, forcing yourself to stop stirring up your mind, and even having the resolve to cut out the redundant, draining distractions and superficial entertainment in your life. This isn't just learning a neat little skill, this is a complete overhaul of your state of being. The sheer scale of the project is massive, but the payoff is absolute game-changing. So, to wrap up, I leave you with a question that cuts straight to the soul. Can a person truly master their own destiny? The answer is: start by mastering your own mind. If, at the very source, your mind remains a glass of muddy water, if you can't even manage your own brain, then on what grounds do you expect to change others, or master something as elusive as fate? I hope today's decoding inspires you to make up your mind to stop stirring that glass of murky water. Start with your very next meal, and reclaim the kind of focus that can cut through solid steel. Thank you all for watching, and see you next time.